Welcome to the 24th floor. I'm Richard Denson alongside Ruben Diaz. The Memphis Tigers women's basketball program has a new leader, and for the first time since being named head coach, she's joining us for an exclusive interview.
That's right. We all want to take a second to welcome Coach Hana Haden. She comes to Memphis after being Sun Belt Coach of the Year at Georgia Southern, brings a track record of winning. I told her earlier before we got on the set, she got it through the mud. Because she spent them years at that JUCO level getting it in the mud.
Yeah, Georgia Southern, you know, it's a school that's near and dear to my heart. That's where my sister went, so I know a lot about them. But like Ruben said, brings a track record of winning at every stop along the way. Coach, welcome to the 24th floor.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Let's get things rolling with people who don't know you. What do they need to know about Coach Hana Haden?
Yes.
Oh,
we're getting in deep today.
Right. Let's get right to it. You know, a lot of times people will say, you know, it's not what you do. What you do is not who you are. But
Correct.
I always take pride in, like, no, I am a basketball coach.
Yeah.
And I think because I embrace every part of that, right? I'm not just talking about calling timeouts and running practice and blowing my whistle and things like that, but being a mentor to young women, helping impact their lives, helping them be the best version of themselves like my coaches did for me. So I live for this. I'm a basketball junkie, so if there's basketball on TV, I'm watching it. Again, just, you know, those relationships with my players and, you know, even after they've left our program, I mean, that's just, it's what I live for, it's what I enjoy, it's what I'm passionate about. So, you know, I think whenever I grew up, there wasn't, I did have the privilege of growing up, like Southwest Missouri, we had
a lot of basketball.
We had, you know, high-level women's basketball, and I got to see Jackie Stiles. So
yeah.
I was exposed to that, but also on TV, you had a lot of NBA, so I always like to say, you know, Allen Iverson. I'm an Allen Iverson stan. But yeah.
The real AI.
Right, the real AI.
The original, yeah.
Exactly.
So, Denson, I know you and I have talked a lot, and you've done a ton of, if you don't know, Denson is the research king of the world. So I'm sure he's got some in-depth questions based on your research.
Well, Coach, first I got to say is like a lot of things that I hear about you is obviously your relatability. And it's probably because of how young you are. You know what I'm saying? You're probably not too much older than me, or we are probably around the same age. Do you think that kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage? Because I know it's for me when I'm on the high school trail, when I'm covering high school sports, I feel like players are a little bit more comfortable talking to me compared to other media because I'm not too far off on age from them. Do you kind of also see that advantage in coaching?
I would like to think so. I hope it's something that I can carry on, right?
You're going to get older, just so we're all clear. Everybody gets older.
Right.
Everybody does it. Carry on.
I think one thing that I kind of gauge how I'm getting, you know, how I am getting a little bit older is when I first started coaching, it was the music, right? We always play music before practice. And so when I first started coaching, not only did I like the music they played, that was what I listened to on my own time. And then, you know, a few years later, you're like, I don't necessarily listen to this, but it's not bad. And now I'm like, oh my God. So maybe, you know, that's how I'm kind of gauging it. But, you know, I think that the relatability is probably what all good coaches have, right? I think it's the ability to see things through their lens and then also get them to see things through your lens, you know, and, you know, the overall program. So. You
got some Memphis music flavor already on your playlist? Some Key Glock,
well,
some Glorilla.
If you start playing like Marvin Gaye and stuff at the practice, I think you might lose them. So you find that middle ground, Coach. Find that middle ground.
Yeah, I like Glorilla. I like Yo Gotti.
Okay.
So that's on my playlist.
Key Glock, though.
Yeah, maybe sometimes.
You all right? Hey, you don't have to co-sign for everything. It's okay. If there's one thing there's plenty of here, it's music, so you don't have to like it all.
Right.
So let's get into the basketball now. So you take a team, you take over a team that struggled. I'm not, you know, telling anybody anything you didn't already know. How difficult is it? You've done this before, but how difficult is it to turn that team around, to start from scratch and say, okay, there is an idea and an ability to win here, but we got to reset this thing. How do you start that process?
Yeah, I think it's you know, started with who do we want to return. When you take over a new program, you're looking at the current roster, and you know, it's always a fit piece. Like just like when those young women were getting recruited, it was about a fit. So then you sit down and you have those conversations. So I think we got some good momentum with the 4 returners, you know, when we kind of recruited them back with our vision. And I think it was encouraging for us because, you know, if they didn't have a good experience at Memphis, they would have already been out the door and we wouldn't have even been able to have the opportunity to have those conversations. So kind of starts there, you know, with your kind of your core group. And I think one lesson that I've learned kind of, being in this business is, we wanted to recruit the best players who are also the best people that we can find. I think one of the differences between Division I and junior college is at junior college, just assemble the talent, right?
Yeah.
Just get the talent in the room and the winning will bring us together. At Division I, you better recruit players that you can get to come together first or you won't win.
Gotcha.
And so I think we tried to be just really strategic, with our vision. We know what we want our program to embody. We want it to be a sisterhood. We want to create a championship culture. We wanted to recruit young women that were going to be invested in our community here at Memphis because we know that's really important. And so we just used those kind of guiding principles to formulate our team.
Coach, how in saying that, how would you kind of describe your coaching style?
I'm passionate.
That just means she yells a lot. Just so we're all clear, anytime a coach says I'm passionate, it means I yell a lot.
That's right. That's right. Well, I think, we expect our players to compete every possession, so I coach every possession. So, you get a lot of those questions when you're recruiting, players. So whether it's them or their parents, and they ask, and I'm like, well, I'll just give you an example. Like if I'm on the sideline and you come down and hit a three, I'm going to be the first one cheering you on. You come down and you don't take a charge, you're going to hear about that. You come back down and you make a mistake or you do something well. Like I'm going to coach every possession because I expect you to compete every possession.
Is it harder now? I mean, I've been involved in basketball and women's basketball in particular for 20 years at this point on the club side, and I've seen the evolution of the player. And not just the talents and the physical abilities on the court, but we're talking about the player off the court and how you have to recruit and now how you have to nurture a little different. You find that change happening in your recruiting process as well when you're talking to these young women and maybe the first question is money now or, guaranteeing playing time or whatever. So how much has that changed for you when you're trying to recruit now?
Yeah, it is different. The days of sitting there and offering somebody a scholarship.
And then being super excited?
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh. After that point, they're like, okay, of course, what else?
Yeah.
So I think embracing, just that part of where we are, and we understand that is a part. These young women are trying to capitalize on, on the environment. So, we kind of, when we have the conversations, it's like, I want to talk about everything else first. And then if it's a good fit, then we'll talk about money. So I try to not talk about the financial piece in the first couple conversations because I want to make sure that this is a good fit for both of us first. And so, that's where we're talking about how the culture of our program. I have learned that not everyone necessarily values it being a sisterhood, Some people are kind of just like, hey, we're just here to play the game, and we kind of clock in and clock out. And, we just know that the most connected teams are the ones that win when it counts. And so, it's important for us to identify those young women who do value that, and it does mean something to them. Obviously, all the basketball components as far as
you
what they
wouldn't
do
be
on the
talking to them
floor.
if it wasn't there.
Exactly. But talking about the fit in terms of like how we play, and after we kind of get through those pieces, then we sit down and we talk about finances.
Which is weird.
Fit, roster building, finances. I'm so glad that y'all are talking about it. We got to take a quick break. We will continue this conversation from recruiting, roster building, the culture Coach Haden wants to create. We'll discuss all of that when we come back. Welcome back to the 24-4 alongside Ruben Diaz and Memphis Tigers women's basketball head coach Hana Haden.
Yep. So we are continuing our conversation. We that first segment we just got to open the can, so to speak. We didn't really dump anything out yet. Now let's start talking about kind of the nuts and bolts of what you're assembling at the University of Memphis for the people who maybe want to give it another shot, right?
Yeah, we want to get people back into El Marron. I think it's going to be really important that we connect with our city. So, we are trying to establish an identity within our program that reflects the city of Memphis, right? This is a city that's known for grit and grind and being blue collar and being tough. And so when people come out and watch our team, they're going to be able to watch a group of young women out there that are competing and embodying that. What would you say are some non-negotiables for your program? Yeah, we talk about being disciplined, right? Just doing things the right way. It's as simple as obviously being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Yeah. But, who you are when nobody is watching, all of those kinds of things on the floor. Obviously, I can go into all kinds of things in terms of discipline, but toughness. We want to be a physically tough team and mentally tough, right? And a lot of toughness is composure, so we talk a lot about that. And togetherness, right? Like, we want you to go out and watch a team that those young women that are out there, they're not just playing with each other, but they're playing for each other.
So as you were building this roster, we spoke earlier about the returners that you were able to bring back. I watched a few games last year. I watch a lot of women's basketball, a lot. And so one of the key things that stuck out to me for Memphis last year was they just couldn't shoot the ball very well. Yeah. And in that conference, you got to be able to shoot the ball. I mean, in basketball, you got to be able to shoot the ball. But in some conferences more than others, you really do have to be able to space the floor with the three. Is that something you guys have addressed already?
Yeah, that's honestly, this team on paper, that would still probably be the weakness. But we've got this summer to address that. We've got a coaching staff that's going to work really, really hard, and we're going to have our young women in the gym. I think we have a lot of capable shooters, but to kind of achieve even the metrics that we want to get to for this year. This is going to be a big summer for this group. But, kind of starting with our returners, Deja Richmond averaged almost 14 points a game, not even really utilizing the three ball.
Yeah.
And so she's worked extremely hard this in the postseason, and this summer she's going to continue that to where she's knocking down that three ball consistently with confidence. I mean, she's looked great in workouts. I think we're going to see Jordan Hunter really explode this year. Tamaya Smith is somebody that's really versatile, and with her ability to stretch the floor. And then again, a lot of our newcomers, are going to need to continue to work really, really hard this summer so that we are. That we can be consistent from the three. We're going to have size. We've got size inside. Yes. Destiny Thomas returning. And we've got to give them some space. So we've got to continue to improve from the three.
At least keep them honest.
That's right.
So how was that trying to get the returners? Because obviously you're not new to this. You're true to this of having multiple turnarounds and stuff like that. What was that kind of process like to get a Deja Richmond to come back, especially in this NIL world where she's successful, she averages maybe 15 points a game, 16 points a game, and she's trying to jump up even a higher level than Memphis. What was kind of that for you and getting the returners to stay?
Yeah, it's just sitting down, having those one-on-one conversations and how we can help her continue to reach her goals. Obviously she's hometown hero, right? She wanted to be here.
She's from
but
Carterville?
Yeah, Cordova.
Cordova,
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so she wanted to be here, but I think obviously she wanted to make sure that it was going to be a fit and we were going to utilize her. And I mean, if you've seen her play, you'd be crazy not to utilize her. Yeah. So really, really excited, about her. But there's the vision of the program, right? Like, she's a competitor, and all four of them are competitors, so I think they want to win. I think, again, Deja maybe has a little bit extra there, but it's like she wants to win for Memphis. And they all do, but her being from here, I think just talking with her about the vision, like, hey, let's do this for Memphis. Let's do this for your family and friends that come out and watch, and all the little girls that look up to you. And so, I think she's been really fully bought in since that first conversation, and just continued to work. And I can't wait for people to see, obviously, our team, but for them to see the work that Deja Richmond is putting in right now.
I've always told kids during the recruiting process on our end, on the club side, that sometimes you have the option. Can you go somewhere and be a person that made an immediate impact on a turnaround, or do you always want to go somewhere where you're just another cog in the wheel, that's already successful? And there is something to be said for being on that front, on that floor, that ground level of the turnaround. So hats off to those young women who are choosing to do that. As you're going through this process, though, and you're continuing to build this roster and continuing to build the culture, what's the message for your staff and yourself as you guys talk about how you're going to recruit the Mid-South in particular? Because, again, Memphis is a basketball city.
It is. It is, yeah. We want to keep that talent home, so it's up to us. Like, we've, obviously tried to contact all the high school coaches and AAU programs. We're going to be out, in June. The scholastic periods are coming up, and in July it's going to be big for us to build those relationships, so that when there's those players that can help us compete for championships at this level, that we've done our due diligence to make sure that they stay home.
Yep.
What would you say would be a realistic measure of success for year one?
Yeah, I think those are always interesting questions, right? I know people, how many games do you think you're going to win? And I'm like, that projection, I'm like, well, how many do you intend on losing? So, one thing that you'll hear me say a million times, or my kind of mantra to our players is like, the best way to take care of tomorrow is to take care of today. So we're really big on pursuing the best version of ourselves, and we do that on a daily basis. We will max out our group, and I think with the group that we've assembled, then that can equate to a lot of success.
I think just with Memphis in particular, just across the sports landscape, when you see new, this city is kind of starving for success to win. Just like when we had Coach Huff in, he understood the gravity of taking over. It's like, man, like, we got to win. So it's like, I feel like it's sometimes unfair to put these high expectations on the new coach, because it takes time, as we've seen across all sports. So that's why I always kind of like gotta ask.
Yeah, well, I want to be clear. Winning is the expectation.
Yeah, but
It is.
you
It's
can't,
the standard.
you don't want to necessarily say, oh, we're going to win it all year one, because then that's like setting a high bar that's sometimes hard to obtain.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that we communicated to our young women, just, we have to have a belief. And, at my previous stop, going into year 2, we had 4 returners and we had 11 newcomers, and we won the league. And so that was something that we communicated. We have 4 returners and we have a bunch of new players. But if we put this thing together the right way, then with how we approach every single day, then you could put yourself in position to really do something special.
I always say, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
right.
Somebody's got to build it. Well, you put us in position to take another break because we were running out of time. So it's time to take another break. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. There's much more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the 24th floor alongside Ruben Diaz and Memphis Tigers women's head coach Hana Haden. Now, women's basketball continues to reach new heights, from record TV ratings, increased investment across the sport. Coach, you've had kind of a front row seat to all of that. Kind of what have you seen from when you first started at the NAIA level to now where it is today, where you got basically college basketball as primetime TV?
Yeah, it's been amazing just to be a part of, right? Just the growth, the exposure. I think it's awesome for young girls that, want to play, when it's way more accessible, they can turn on the TV and watch it. I love it for our WNBA players, the new CBA and the money that they're receiving. So it's been kind of surreal to watch, when you go to one of these games and it's sold out and you're just getting that, getting to see these women receive the recognition that they deserve.
So the NIL money has changed the game completely. And I'm not a big fan of getting into the weeds of the NIL money, but I do want to talk about maybe how that's changed the ability to recruit, at least in the league. Now, Memphis is known as one of the better schools when it comes to NIL money, and that's no secret to anybody. Has that
FedEx money.
Yeah, I got that FedEx money. Has that been able to help you when you're on the road get in with players that maybe you might not have been able to get in with at a different level?
Yeah, absolutely. It gets you in the conversation for sure. But then you're also competing with, those schools that are also, you'd much rather be with the haves than the have-nots. But,
True.
it just, presents maybe a different challenge where you're trying to, again, once you kind of get in the door with them, and then it's this conversations on fit, and then what they're, what else matters to them. But outside of the dollar sign, which is big.
That's tough, man. In this game right now, the dollar sign becomes the 1 or 2 question almost immediately anymore, and it less becomes about, do I fit your style of play?
Right.
What do you see for me in the next 3 years? Which are all the things we used to tell kids. This is what you talk about on your first conversation. How do you see me fit into your program? What's the culture of your club like? And now it's, how much money do you have for me?
Yeah.
So how would you say the NIL and transfer portals changed the way you build? Because I was listening to a podcast from Tim Legler, a vaunted basketball mind, and he was talking about how close he was to going into coaching a D1 program. But he says now he has conversations with coaches. A guy could be a hidden gem, didn't have any type of recruits or anything, and then he comes in, he averages 15 points a game, and now instead of the coach being happy that he found one, he's like, oh my God, he's going to leave after this season. So for you, obviously, for example, let's bring up Deja. Deja, like we said, could have easily been all right, I'm going to go play for a TCU or a Notre Dame. Obviously, it's great that she stayed home, but you as a coach is man, if I find someone and they go off, they might leave after a year. I can't help them really build the program.
Yeah, obviously our goal here at Memphis is to make this the destination, right?
And they don't leave.
Right. And, our president, Dr. Hargrave, and our athletic director, Dr. Scott, they have a vision to make this, where we're not having to leave to go to a bigger conference, so they've been very transparent with that vision. And so, but, for now, I don't know, it's part of it. You really can't do anything about it. I've sat in rooms at conference meetings and stuff where it's okay, do we give a freshman of the year accolade? Because if so, they're going to get picked off. They're probably going to get picked off regardless. So I think, build your team the best way that you can for that year. And I think that's probably where it's become a little bit different is everybody used to think about your 4-year plan. You need to be thinking about this maybe for 10 months and, try to give them a great experience and build the best relationship that you can. And, if it's enough, then you'll get them back. And if they, if they are looking for something different and, just they kind of overextends what you're able to do, then, a lot of us, if you're 18, 19 years old and somebody's doubling up your money, then you're going to go too. So.
Yeah, I know. I did it when I started in this business. I would say, but you're not, but everybody's in the same boat though to that point. And so it makes it, challenging, different. I don't know what the verbiage we want to use here, where you might not be building that 4-year program anymore, but you're trying to build that one because Wichita State's different next year than it was this last year, right? And so everybody in the conference changes throughout the year. The personnel changes. A lot of times the coaching staffs are changing too as well. And so it presents a different challenge, right? So you having to really accelerate, I would guess. The learning curve doesn't get nearly as deep as it used to be.
Yeah, you know, yes, like as far as how you put everything together, like you've got to move quickly. Like we say, like now you're not baking it, you're microwaving it, you know, so.
I like that analogy.
Yes, but that's why we're happy to have 8 weeks in summer access. I mean, that's huge to be able to start putting things together.
Yeah. What do you think about the 5 for 5?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I honestly, people have complained about it. I actually like it because it's at least a set of rules.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Like, let's get some consistency in what we're doing. And yeah, I love it. You know, I was also a junior college coach for 5 years. When everybody's worried about where will the high school kids go to junior college. You know, and get on the floor and actually get experience rather than coming and sitting as a freshman and just, you know, practicing, which is fine. That can be good, but you get to get real game experience. So I'm going to be telling, go JUCO and get that experience, and, you know, then you can kind of go from there. But I love it. I think it's awesome. Last year, you know, we had, because of the Pavia ruling, you know, junior college, I had 3 6-year players on my team. We had a bunch of 23, 24-year-olds. And
get a job.
We called them our super seniors. You know, they were our old
LinkedIn
ladies.
open to work.
Yeah. So, and it was awesome. It was awesome to coach. We won a lot of games because
I bet you did win a lot of games. You had the old WBA staff on your team.
For real. All right, Coach, we've had a lot of fun. We're going to, when we come back, we'll wrap things up with a little bit more fun. Coach will join us for a round of 82-0. It's the hit game that's all the noise on social media. We'll compare our squads. We'll each build our ultimate NBA starting 5. See whose team comes out.
Before we go to break, let's be fair. It's random. So my score isn't indicative of what I would normally get. Now we can go to break.
And I won.
Welcome back to the 24th floor. It's time now for Best Thing I Saw. And lately, one of the biggest trends in the basketball world hasn't been a game or a highlight. It's a website called 82-0.
Yeah, if we weren't doing this game today, I was going to use the Caitlin Clark 3 against the Mystics the other night.
of course.
Gamer right there, right? But this game has gone viral on social media. It's all about trying to build the perfect NBA starting 5 and go undefeated.
So before the show, Coach Haden, Ruben, and I each took a shot at it. We've got our lineups here. Ruben, let's start with you.
Oh, we'll start with my linlineup? Yeah. I don't remember who was on the lineup, so hopefully you can pull it up because it's all random.
There you go.
It's so far away. I'm 64-18 ended up being my score, but I'm going to say, again, it's random. So I got a bunch of old, like super old players. I had like some of Coach Haden's old players available on my random spins. I got no 2000s. I got no recent current players, so that's what I ended up with.
Dang, I wish we could see it. Like, I mean, I know it's next to you, but it's kind of hard to see. All right, let's take mine. Yeah, let's take mine. Because I think I finished in second. If we got mine. There we go. All right, so what I remember from mine, I think, Ruben, you got it. Yeah, tell me what.
You got Steph Curry, first of all.
Steph is my point guard.
You got Jerry Sloan.
Okay.
Larry Johnson.
Grandmama.
Spencer Haywood. And Antoine Carr. So you got a little bit hosed on the back end.
So the thing that kind of did mine in, yeah, thank you. Bring it full so I can look at it a little bit more. All right, so the thing that did mine in was having Antoine Carr because, like, by the time we got to the center spot, I didn't have anywhere to go. So I had to take Antoine Carr. I couldn't take Karl Malone. They wouldn't let me play him at the 5. Now, Spencer Haywood, I was kind of cool with him. Looking at me having 25.
Your record is horrible. Let's see.
Well, you know,
your record is horrible.
Let's see the winning. Let's see the winning roster here.
Yeah, let's see. Let's pull that winning. Let's pull coaches up and we'll read it off the screen. We look like a bunch of old people having to get close to the screen, just so we're clear. All right, I got you, Coach. You just hang tight. I'll go through yours.
Let's see. I know I had Luka at the point.
Luka. First of all, how do you get that? Then you get James Harden.
Right.
Come on. DeMar DeRozan.
Yes.
Vince Carter. Your only balk is Bill Walton.
Yes.
Which that's not bad.
No, can we
Bill won the title.
She's 72-10.
Looks like 72-10 to me, guys.
Yeah, can we pull mine up real quick? We'll go back let's go full screen on this. Can we find mine and go full screen real quick?
Hold on, they gonna get. There we go.
Okay, listen. This is me stomping. I got Fred Brown.
Downtown Freddie Brown.
Clyde the Glide. I'm cool with Clyde the Glide. Human Highlight Field, Dominique Wilkins. I'm cool with that.
Guy.
And I got Karl Malone. But Bob Lanier? I mean,
Respect Bob Lanier.
Come on, bro. He's so unathletic at this age in the
That's
game.
one of the greatest centers ever.
From the 70s. I'm 64-18 even with that team. But I mean, you got Luka. You got Steph.
Yeah.
Like, where's all that for me? The game is just cheating against me.
Well, still 64 games you won. You must have been a good coach.
It's my coaching ability. The game knows who can coach and who can't.
Well, I mean, allegedly, it's a cheat code. If none of us got Wilt Chamberlain, if we would have got Wilt Chamberlain, we would have went 82-0.
I want Mike. I want Michael Jordan. That's all.
I mean, even if
I wanted Allen Iverson.
Oh, okay.
And Penny.
Oh.
Well, I'm a Steph Curry guy. I got my guy.
Good.
And I wanted Harden. You got Harden.
Yeah,
That's
I got
my
Harden.
2 favorite players.
Well, Coach, I know we're about out of time. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time, making sure you can get up here. We had a great conversation, being able to introduce people to you even more, kind of give them an idea about your vision for the program.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Go Tigers, go. That
Right.
will do it for today's episode of the 24th Floor. Shout out to everyone who made it possible, especially Leanna Davis and Steven Spehar. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
For their work,
Yeah.
for their work behind the scenes, getting this show together, like Ruben said, big shout out to Coach Hana Haden for joining us. Go Tigers, go. Be sure to check out the ladies when they're back on the court this fall.
And don't forget, Richard came in 3rd in today's competition. Never forget that.
I mean,
Third.
we do this again next week, it won't be the same thing. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you on the other side.